Yep.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the 13th episode of the Sox and Four podcast. I'm your host, Dylan McDonald. We are here with Alex Lane, Dan Allison, Adam Wonderly. We are sponsored by 1 in 100 Official, presented by Ride the Wave Media. 1 in 100 Official is the sponsor of Ride the Wave Media. Want to go to a national primetime sporting event or even win a jersey or signed memorabilia? Recently, 1 in 100 sent two lucky people front and center at the Stanley Cup Finals. We also recently gave away a signed Paul Pierce jersey. 1 in 100 has you covered. Check them out on Instagram at 1 in 100 Official. Sign up for email subscription and enter some raffles for a great prize. So tonight we have a lot to talk about. Recently, I was at the All-Star game, took a break for a few weeks because we were very busy. I went to the All-Star game in Cleveland, flew out there, thanks to Spike King and Boston's Fro Angel. And we have a lot to talk about. So do you guys have any thoughts about the All-Star game? What did you guys think about the event this year?
The All-Star game, to me, it was hard to just mainly focus on the All-Star game that weekend when the night before you have such a crazy home run derby like that, like probably one of the most historic and like exciting to watch, in my opinion. So.
Oh, yeah, I agree. I think the home run derby this year was the highlight of All-Star week. I mean, we had I can't even remember at this point. It was like a few weeks ago, but Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Pete Alonso. And then in the semifinals, it was Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and
Jock Peterson.
And they each had a pair of like 20 home runs, and they tied a couple of times. Then they went into it. It ended with a swing off. And it was crazy. But Pete Alonso ended up winning, even though he hit like 50 home runs, and Vlad Jr. hit like 90 home runs. That's just the way the home run derby is. But needless to say,
Vlad definitely added some to his legend a little bit. Everybody talks about him, so he definitely kind of backed it up a little, because some people were mad that he was only getting into the home run derby because his name, obviously, and what he is potentially gonna be. But he did well, made it exciting.
Yeah, it was a sight to see. The only thing is, like, Vlad Jr., he's been struggling a lot this year. Like, I honestly think he isn't ready for the big show just yet because he hasn't been hitting it all and stuff. I feel like he could have, because he's so young, I feel like he could have used another year in AAA. But still, you can just see the power that he has with what he did at the home run derby. So I hope he starts to hit the ball again, because that was really fun to watch, and he has the potential to be a great hitter.
I think he's got a swing like his dad. He also has a lot to live up to because he's in his dad's footsteps. I think the home run derby was crazy. He actually broke the record for most home runs. Still didn't win, unfortunately. I think they have some things they need to fix in the home run derby and how they have that set up, in my opinion. But the All-Star game, like you said, it was tough to follow up after that home run derby, which was absolutely insane. Probably one of the best home run derbies I've ever seen. But it was cool to see, like, your point of view as a fan from the All-Star game, watching on Ride the Wave MLB. And it was also, the one thing I don't like about it is it's not played for anything anymore. So it's hard to watch, especially as a team when you might only have one guy in there, and now you're not even playing for, World Series home field advantage. So, like you said,
did they change that?
Yeah, they're not playing for World Series home field advantage anymore.
Who gets it? What the hell?
It's whoever has the best record.
Oh shit! I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so that's why I find it tough.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's one of the things that made, for me, the All-Star game in baseball so relevant, and I mean, that was honestly my biggest argument for allowing every team to have a member on the All-Star game. You know what I mean? Because, I don't know, say there's a third-place team in the All-Star break. Maybe they're just a solid team, but they don't have it. They're small markets. They don't have that big stud on there, but they're still a good team. Well, if they make a playoff push, they should have somebody at least representing them so that it's, what I mean? They had a vote, I guess you could say, a democratic vote on if they end up making it to World Series. But now it doesn't even take home field advantage, or if it doesn't determine that.
No, it's more just for the fan votes and just to have the fans go out and hopefully see these big guys get a home run. But
I was at the game too. Like I flew out to Cleveland, it was a really fun time. I stayed with Angel, Boston's Fro. He hooked it up. He let me stay in his like hotel room and everything, and pretty much just went, checked out the stadium and everything, saw what Cleveland had to offer. Cleveland was a boring city, but the stadium was so nice and beautiful.
Cleveland's right next to, right?
Yeah.
No, Cleveland's good 4 or 5 hours away.
Still same state.
Hey, I'm not going to call Cleveland boring. Cleveland sucks. Cincy's way better.
I mean, I'll have to go to Cincinnati too, but I had a great time though. I feel like the atmosphere in the stadium too, it could have been better because you know what I mean? Like I feel like it would have been better if both teams actually had something to play for.
Yeah, but I honestly didn't know that. Do you know when they made that rule change?
It's like 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
What? Where the hell? This whole time I've been thinking.
I don't know if it was that long ago. I thought it was maybe 3 or 4. But
I think it may be like 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah.
Like recently, but like not too recent. Like I don't know, 2016.
I think when
maybe.
Kansas City won it is like the last year.
Yeah.
Don't correct me.
So I'll go quickly in this, but I also checked out FanFest too. I think what the MLB does for All-Star Week is great. I mean, they go all out. They have FanFest. They even had a zip line sponsored by T-Mobile that took you like over the buildings and stuff. Like it was crazy.
Saw that.
Yeah. And I got to meet some Hall of Famers. I met Frank Thomas. I met Louis Tiant. I got autographs from both of them. I almost got an autograph from A-Rod, but A-Rod didn't really want to sign for me. But
Twice.
Yup, twice. And it was still a fun time though. I hung out like by the Fox pregame show out in center field. I was just like there was way too many. I was trying to like watch batting practice, but there was just way too many people running around. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go hang out here and see what I can get for content and see if I can get anyone to sign. And Angel even like went up to A-Rod and was like, "Hey, you mind signing the ball for him?" A-Rod just kept walking. That's just the asshole A-Rod is. But yeah, it was a fun time. Now we'll move on to Sox talk, though. The Red Sox, not a very good team. I mean, they have the potential to be way better, but I don't know. They've just the past few series too. They've been losing. Like I thought going into the second half, like all right, we're gonna start winning. We're gonna go on a huge run and everything. It just hasn't happened yet. I mean, we lost 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. We did win the Blue Jays series, but we did lose the series to Baltimore, which sucks. But me and Alex were at the Sunday night game too for the Red Sox Dodgers. Alex, you explain this one?
Like you said, I don't agree with you saying the Sox aren't a good team because I think they're 8 games over 500. They had a really bad start, and I think they've improved since their start. I just think it's inconsistency, and that's what we've been saying all year long. But like you said, with the Dodgers series, we were there Sunday night. It was inconsistency. It was you blew them out game 1, you got blown out game 2, and then here you have a chance to – I think we had multiple chances to win that game, and it went to extras and we lost. I think it's funny when you mention A-Rod and the signed ball because we actually sat right in front of him. And, even Angel confirmed what you said. He's just a jerk, and he wasn't going to sign anything, and we were literally probably about 10 feet away from him. So, but, yeah, that's what I think of the Dodgers series. I think we had a chance to win it again, and we blew it.
I did like the way they played versus the Dodgers, but that last game was very disappointing. I mean, they were down 4-2. Then they came back in the 8th to tie it up. They had like
back-to-back home runs.
One or two runners in scoring position too to take the lead, and they just couldn't do it. And then the bullpen kept us in it until the 12th, and then we went down by 3 runs, and that was pretty much it.
I think it was a bad run by JBJ, who actually tried to go to third and got thrown out. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not 100% on that, but I was in the 9th where they had a chance to win it.
Yep. And that game, very late night too. The game didn't get over till 1 a.m. We got to Fenway at like 6 o'clock. We were there till 1 o'clock in the morning. So it was kind of crazy. But it was fun because in the 7th inning, Angel got us up there. Fenway security, like they come in clutch every time. And we just walked right up there and Angel did it for us. So it was great to get that content too. And Alex, you went to a few more games as well. You were at the game the day after. And then me and you went to the Wednesday night game, and then you were at the Thursday game.
Let's just say it's been a long week. Like you said, that game didn't end till after 1 a.m. on the Dodgers game, and then the next night I was back at Fenway, towards down lower field next to the Monster. It was a great game. The Red Sox went up actually. I believe they scored 5 runs in like the first and second inning and didn't really score after that. But it was a whomping until the end where the bullpen almost blew it. And then Wednesday night, me and you went there, and it was basically flooding out. I couldn't the game. Red Sox won that one. And then Thursday day game, it was just like I felt like at that point I was done at going to Sox games. And they won that one. It was Chris Sale's first home win. And if I was to ask you guys right now, would you be shocked if we're sitting here July what? It was like July 18th or something like that, or July 15th, whatever, last week. And I would sit there to tell you that would be Chris Sale's first win in Boston. What would you think?
I mean, especially if you look at it before the season, I would not have expected that. But Chris Sale's been pitching good this year too. It's just he doesn't get any run support. That's the problem. It happens every single start. I mean, at least what was the final score to that game where he got his first win Thursday? Do you remember?
It was probably 3-2. Some shit like that.
No, it was
wasn't it like 5-0 or something like
that?
that?
5-0. Yeah, 5-0.
See, if we could just have that happen every time, then we'd be all set. But yeah, I mean, Chris Sale struggled too to start the season, but I don't think he's been pitching bad either. It's just the run support. It's not there. And it's a confusing process too, because you're looking at the best offensive team in the league right here. I mean, even right now, they're up 7-0 against the Rays. They just had a 7-run inning, and they've had so many innings where they've scored at least 5 runs. So it's weird.
8-0 now.
Nice.
Yeah, so like I think going back to what you guys were saying before, of like the consistency of the Red Sox, I feel like Sale's inconsistency to perform and the Red Sox inconsistency has like kind of like mashed heads together. Like when he's pitching well, the Red Sox don't score any runs, and when the offense is like firing away in all cylinders, he has a really bad night, gives up like 4 or 5, and it kind of just goes back and forth like a seesaw, and it's just really unfortunate because as we said, he's had some like big highlights this year at Fenway. I mean, the 17 strikeout game against the Rockies, we somehow still lost, so that's just one example of the many disappointments Sale this year.
It's a recipe for disaster coming down the stretch when you have that kind of inconsistencies. If you start looking at even if they're able to make it to the playoffs, I mean, it's hard to be optimistic about that. Especially when a team's showing like flashes of brilliance, like scoring 7 runs in an inning, and then just coming out every other inning and shitting the bed. Well, what are you supposed to do about that?
Yeah, I mean, when I said earlier that the Red Sox are not a good team, I guess I'll take that back because they do. Their offense is unbelievable.
Take it back.
But
they're over 500 too. I mean,
yeah. No, they
that's
are.
Another thing. So they're playing winning baseball in the grand scheme of it all.
They're playing in a tough division. They're playing winning baseball. Like I said, it was the bad start. But it's also the inconsistency to beat these bad teams, like losing 2 out of 3 to Baltimore.
Yeah.
I will be talking about this for the next 5 years, too. I think the MLB absolutely screwed over our schedule this year. I mean, what? You had like a 16-game road trip to like start the season, And then like this Friday, like the Yankees are coming to Fenway for the first time all season. It's just like there's just I don't know, just the scheduling this year. They're just screwing us over because we're the defending world champs. I think that's played a role in it too, but
I disagree. I can't give that to the Sox fans. That's too much of a. I just think it's hard to repeat. It's hard to come back in a year after winning a championship and coming out. I mean, I don't think it has anything to do with the schedule because you're playing the same. I mean, if you would have looked at it, you said the Yankees are coming to the Sox now for some all year. I don't know how many times they've played this year. Probably, 3 or 4 times? But
I believe 3.
3 times. So,
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at it the way that at least was giving the Sox an opportunity to try to get shit together. So,
oh yeah, and then going into the All-Star break too, like what? You had the road trip, you had the London trip, then you had the road trip, and then you had the All-Star break. So like
London sucks.
It was like I was like, holy crap! Like it's been almost a month since the Red Sox last played at Fenway. Like towards the end of the All-Star break, that's what it felt like. I was like, I haven't been to Fenway in so long.
Well, look, this is where it all happens. They played 11 games to start the season, so I think they always play on the road to start the season, and that's because it's cold. It's cold up here. They want to start them out down in Florida. It's the same thing with most of the teams that play up in the cold. They try to get them in mid-April to start or beginning, April 10th around there. So it's not as cold or snowing. The other thing is, yeah, the London trip sucked. I never even want to hear about London baseball ever again. The Sox looked bad. But it's 162 games. 162
It did
games.
well. That's what sucks. It's gonna happen again. People showed out for it.
Oh, it will, but it's 162 games. You have a bad start, like you said, Adam. They're hungover after the World Series win. I didn't expect them to come out 17-2 like last year. But the biggest thing to me is it's 162 games. Now's your chance to win right now. Here you go.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it too because the next 2 weeks are absolutely huge for this team. I mean, they're playing the Rays right now. The following 13 games are against either the Yankees or the Rays, 2 teams that are both in your division. So if they're going to come back and take the first wild card spot, I don't think they're going to catch up to the Yankees unless we go on like a huge September run and the Yankees lose a little bit. But now is the chance that we these next 13 games will either make or break our season. We cannot lose these series. These series are huge.
I'd like to see across Major League Baseball how many teams are playing a lot of divisional opponents this game because the Reds also 13 out of 19 games this year or this month are divisional games. So I wonder if after July we're going to see a lot of kind of definitive what the playoffs going to really start to look like. I mean, teams can blow up, right? One team can shift. But for the most part, a lot of the picture is going to be pretty clear by the end of this month, I think. I mean, shit happens. Yeah, obviously. That's what makes baseball great. But like I said, maybe one division might have some crazy, like the NL East. I could see that going anyway, really, right now. Even though the Braves they've got a pretty good hold on it. But it'll be interesting to see by the end of the month.
No, I agree. I agree with you, Adam. I think I've been saying this like 3 weeks ago. I had said that, we still have to play the Yankees, I think, in 4-game series. Two of them in Fenway, one in New York, and that one was a 3-game series, but there's a doubleheader. So you still play them 12 games, which is I think we're only back 11, so you win all of them, you're ahead. Not that that's going to happen, but you still play them a lot. You still play them a lot, and some of the closer, tighter divisions, especially where Cincinnati plays, they're open. They could definitely win that.
Mm-hmm.
The thing about me though is I am feeling positive about these next 13 games because you have the trade deadline coming up too. I think these guys, they're ready to start winning again. They're ready to start playing as a team because none of these guys want to get traded, and they're starting to realize. Like, oh, shit, if we don't start contributing, we're going to get traded.
Yeah, they're not going to keep you just because you had a ship last year.
It starts with the bullpen, too, because the bullpen's just been like a nightmare.
Yeah, that's I think if they buy, that's their target is arms in the pen.
What
I mean,
bullpen?
maybe. Yeah, I don't know. What do you would they sell? Why am I drawing a blanket? Mookie?
No
I
way. He's locked in, right?
Mm.
At least for this year. You can't.
I
There's no
think
way.
if they're
That's what I'm
gonna,
saying. You're not winning a ship this year. I mean, if you think if it goes as it's currently going, right, and you know they're crunching the numbers on it, they're not making the playoffs at this current rate. Okay, so unless something obviously changes, I'm not saying it
I don't
can't.
think the
But
wild card's that far out, though.
yeah, no,
okay, yeah. So the wild card's not out of it. So okay, you're right. So, but then with that in mind, thinking that all right, we might be fighting for a wild card. Do you go out and get a nice haul from Mookie Betts, or do you pay the man at the end of the
They
year
don't.
a
They
lot of
don't
money?
touch Mookie. They don't touch Mookie. I think they have other prospects or other players that they can offer for bullpen players, but there's no way, no
Yeah.
way
No.
they touch Mookie.
I also think like my answer to like that Mookie question could be totally different and like after this 2 week stretch. Because like as Dylan said, this 2 week stretch of divisional games is coming right before the trade deadline. And like if we lose like 3 out of 4 or like 4 of these series, like the Sox might be like intrigued to sell and like just be
Yep.
like, all right, like
I was just
pack it up for the
So
season.
let's say they lose the next 2 against the Rays and get swept by the Yankees in 4 games. Then what?
I think then we'll be like sellers. That's
Yeah.
what I think.
But still not big of a sell as to go for. You're going to let Betts ride out the year and then try to sign him again?
Yeah, he's your best player. What?
I'm not arguing. I'm just posing the question. I honestly
Yeah.
don't. Yeah, I wouldn't get rid of him either. That's somebody you
No
build
way.
around, in my opinion. But
I really
you
hope.
can't
I
argue you
hope.
get a nice haul.
I don't
That's
want to
true.
go 0-4 against the Yankees, Adam. I hope what you said the opposite happens. And
Yeah, I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think they're going to split that series, honestly.
I
It'll be
think
interesting. First of all, it'll be interesting what Adam's lock of the week is going to be at the end of the episode.
That's right. We're kind of already talking about it right now. I kind of just set it out a little bit.
All right. Well, before you pick your lock in, I just want to say I was off by 1 when I had said we were going to go 6-0, but that's tough. So I'm really curious to see what you say because it's tough to get a prediction for a whole
Dude,
week.
it is hard. I've only gotten 1 right of all time. Actually, I don't even know if I even got that right. I don't really remember. I think I was off 1.
So
Well,
speaking of the trade deadline coming up, the Red Sox, they have been scouting some guys from different teams, and the priority right now is getting a closer because Nate Eovaldi cannot be your closer for the rest of the season. Like that is not going to happen. So they are like the trade rumors and everything. The guys that they're scouting, possibly they're scouting Ken Giles of the Blue Jays and Kirby Yates of the Padres.
Well, actually, you know what's funny though? I wish that Native Baldy was closer to starting, and he was going to like let's say he'd already started closing for like 3-4 weeks, and he was doing well. It'd make your point a little interesting.
And we'll see tonight if he gets used in the bullpen because I saw a tweet that said Alex Cora is planning on pitching him tonight. Whether like they use him, like even if we're up 8-0, he still wants to throw him just to see how he looks.
Him?
Yep.
That'd be
So we'll see about that. But thoughts on the closer situation, these guys that they're scouting? I think that with the deadline coming up and everything, I think if we're gonna get one of these guys, we may have to trade away one of our like offensive. Like someone in our offensive lineup, like maybe, I don't know. I think you either got to trade a starter or like an offensive guy.
Yeah, I think those 2 closers you just named, like there's no way you just get by and like grab those guys without giving up a lot. I think those are 2 big names that like San Diego and Toronto are going to be looking for like a big package to set them up. So I doubt we get Kirby Yates just because I feel like San Diego, they're in a position where they have some stars, but they want to add like a lot of guys, a lot of young guys, some prospects. So, but Ken Giles, I think, is more feasible. We have a lot of trade history with the Blue Jays, but I don't know who the question of who do you trade, it's really hard to think because this is such a talented offense that you don't know what piece. Like if you remove a piece, will that totally affect the offense and take away all those stats and the production? But I mean, it's just hard to tell.
It is, and yeah, I think they're more likely to trade for Ken Giles too, especially I don't know why the Padres would really want to give up Kirby Yates anyway, because they're fighting for a playoff spot right now. They're playing good baseball too, so it looks like we may see them in October. But the Blue Jays, they're going into rebuild mode. I mean, you see them selling their whole team pretty much the past few years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You said San Diego.
Yeah, bringing up everybody in the grandma.
Spot. You meant for the wild card, right?
Yeah. Because
the
Dodgers have run away.
Yeah, but you could. I mean, at that point, you're saying that almost everyone in the West besides Miami has a chance to go to the playoffs.
I mean, the National League's interesting because you have so many teams fighting for the wild card.
Every team but Miami is 7 games or less back from the wild card. That is insane.
That's even ridiculous. The Reds, there's still some hope with the Reds too, Adam.
They've had a lot of they're kind of collapsing right now. We're in the middle of a big July collapse, and it's kind of happening right before our eyes. We're 9 games back. I mean, it's not the end of the world. We still got a series with the Brewers right now, and then but then we got to play the Rockies again, who are a damn good team. I don't think people know about the Rockies, but those guys can score too. I'd like to see the stats on them.
You know what's crazy though is we say that, and here the Sox are 10 games better than they are. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, think about how different. Think about how different it would be if the Red Sox were in the National League.
Oh, they'd be leading.
Oh, okay. You could take that 2 ways though. All right, so you could say the Reds. Yeah. Oh, if you put the AL team in there, say you put the AL team in the NL Central, right? You could say, oh, well, they don't have as many wins, so they're not as good, or it's because they're all playing each other and there's such a competitive division that nobody's really running away with it. That's
true.
I don't think it's a matter of you stick an AL team in there, and all of a sudden they'd be a baller in the NL. I don't think that's the case. I just think it's just so tight. Everybody's good. There's a lot of good teams in the National League.
Exactly. The AL, I feel has better quality teams. You think of the contenders, New York, Houston, Boston. But when you think National League, it's very spread out, very diverse, and everyone's a contender over there, basically.
Yeah, it's a little bit like AFC, NFC. AFC has pretty much Patriots, kind of a dominating factor in there, and then the NFC, there's a lot of, or the West, I guess now in basketball, since the East holds the ring.
Yeah, that's true.
So we can definitely say we're
besides the Dodgers though. The Dodgers are in their own thing out.
Yeah, the Dodgers are something.
That's
special.
one of. Yeah, the Dodgers are special, but the Astros, Yankees, Twins. I mean, those are.
Yeah,
I think the AL leaders are better than the NL leaders. I don't know because I said, it might be because they're so tight, but I don't know, just by the eye test,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you have the Dodgers over in their own sort of area, I think, outside of the rest of the NL teams. But other than that, I would agree with that statement.
Speaking of the Dodgers, just the way the season's been so far, I think they're my prediction to win the World Series this year. They're just playing unbelievable baseball, and they've been in the World Series the past 2 years, but they've lost both times. So they're hungry to win a ship this year.
Dude, that's a good bet. I would put a lot of money on that.
Well, like you said, they've been there twice in a row and lost, so they know what it's like. They know the pressure to at least get there. As of right now, I think unless it's the Yankees or the Astros, they could definitely get World Series home field advantage, which would be huge, especially against the Yankees. If the Yankees aren't home, I don't know if they beat the Astros or Dodgers. I think if they have to play 4 road games, but that's definitely a solid pick. I think in my mind, you go with either 3 of those teams.
Going back to the Sox too. going back to the Sox too, I still think they can make a run deep into October. Like with the trade deadline coming up, we need to get that closer. That closer is huge. It's literally all we need. Like get a closer, maybe another bullpen guy, and then we're all set. See what this team can do.
Yeah. I think that's all the pieces. You're right, but are they going to play together? Are they going to hit when Sale pitches? Are they going to, hit when another pitcher pitches, or are they not going to hit and then the pitcher, sucks? So they have to play together. They have to play as a team, and consistency.
It's so frustrating, man.
So
it's like with the Baltimore series too. You lose 11-2 the first game, then you win 17-6 the next game, and the next game you get shut out. How about that though? They got one hit the other day by that guy in the Blue Jays. The Orioles, that starter. Yeah,
I think it's like we've been talking, like consistency and the playoffs don't don't mix well. Like the Sox are so inconsistent, and in October there's no we'll get them tomorrow. Like every game matters, especially if you're in the wild card game. Like that's do or die. So
it almost reminds me of the Celtics. Like remember the Celtics this year? Just like how disappointing it was.
Exactly. Like
we just gotta hope that the Red Sox turn this thing around. They go on a huge run. That's my prediction, though. I think they're going to go on a huge run in September.
There needs to be something, in my opinion, that happens that clicks with this team if they're going to do it. I don't think right now, as a team, as a whole team, they're good enough to win the World Series.
No.
So, like you said, they have to go on a run. Yeah, like some type of magic has to strike this team for them to pull it
You'll
off.
find out in the next 13 games or so.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it. These next, Tampa Bay, New York. So you'll find out during those series, and that's going to say a lot about this team.
It will for sure. Yeah. And on the bright side too, we're getting Nate Eovaldi back. Mitch Moreland's. We're hoping most likely Mitch Moreland's going to be activated tomorrow, so we'll have him back. You have Chavis, who's on the IL right now, but it would be nice to get Moreland back in the lineup, and then we'll get Chavis back in a week or so. So definitely we're looking at a positive stretch here for the Red Sox. You just got to hope that they play the way we expect them to. In other MLB news too, you guys, how about that no-hitter that the Angels pitched for Tyler Skaggs?
This is why baseball is the greatest sport of all time. That was one of the coolest. Bro, it just boggles my mind how this type of stuff happens in sports, and it really shows why people love sports, because most of the time it's always about something being bigger than ourselves. You know what I mean? That's why people get on. That's why they're fans of teams. That's what it is. You win a city, win a chip. The whole city goes wild because it means something to them. You know what I mean? It's like you invest into it, and it's just, that's just incredible that they go out there for it. And sorry, go on. I'm rambling.
No, it's fine. I was just gonna say, like you said, how amazing it is. Was it last year or 2 years ago when Jose Fernandez died, right?
Yeah, D. Gordon.
Yeah, first pitch out of the park, and it's just so you have that story. And then all of a sudden, Skaggs dies, and they, Trout wears his jersey, I believe, at the All-Star game.
Yeah.
Or wears his number, and then they hit a combined no-no, and they're all wearing number 45.
On the 45 night.
Yeah, on the 45 night, and then just to put that on the mound, and his mom giving up the first pitch,
and his mom threw a strike right down the heart of the plate.
Yeah.
Right down the heart. When I saw that, bro, it was almost like Simba or Mufasa was getting thrown off the cliff. I was like, no way. It's too much.
That picture too, of all the jerseys that said 45, that was one of the most beautiful pictures I've seen.
Yeah, bro. That's just, I don't know. That stuff, that's just is so important.
You can't make that stuff up.
No.
Yeah. You really
Baseball
can't.
gods are definitely looking out that night. That's for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Angels in the outfield.
Oh, yeah. I know.
Also,
for real, that's what my first thought was.
Also, there's big competition for the NL MVP. I've seen the voting and everything on the MLB page on Instagram. And who do you guys think's the better Who is your pick to win MVP, Yelich or Bellinger?
Dude, I am only gonna say just because the team that I watched mainly the most of the time plays them so much, but the shit that Yelich does on a daily basis, I mean, it's not even just that. I mean, it's also just looking at the eye test of it and seeing how he plays. I mean, it's just flawless. His swing is flawless. He's got long arms, a lot of power, but it's a short swing. It's just I don't know. I think Yelich is MVP. That's who right now. I know Bellinger might have a little better stat line.
Oh, actually,
but
I was looking at it the other day, and Bellinger is, I believe, better in every single category across, but it's minor. It's like 2 more home runs, 4 more
Yeah.
hits. His ops is just a little higher by .07. So like you said, it could be anyone, and I think it's going to come down to the last week or so. But I will say, if they're even, if their numbers are even, I give it to Bellinger because the Dodgers have a better record,
Yeah.
and on top of that, I'm pretty sure he was on the injured list for what 15 days or something like that.
I didn't know that.
I
That's
know
crazy.
he was out for a few games. I don't know exactly how many, so don't quote me on that. But I know he was out for a few games. So, in fact, I'm gonna try to look that up. But
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be even. So
Yeah. So so the MVP race, I think Bellinger has the edge right now because the people that vote on it, a lot of it is based off stats, unfortunately. But for my pick, like I think Bellinger's gonna win it, but I think Yelich should because it's the MVP award. It's the most valuable player, and if you take Bellinger and Yelich off their respective teams, I feel like the Brewers get worse and the Dodgers still stay around the same record they have just a little bit. And I also think Yelich is in a better position to make a run for the MVP because the Dodgers are already sitting pretty right now. They're ahead of their division by a good amount of games. And Yelich is in a very tight race. So he is in a position to, if he goes off, the spotlight's going to be on him and he's going to like push his team into the postseason, which will go over really well for the MVP voting.
I agree with you, Dan. Like, I do think Bellinger does have the edge. I would really like to see Yelich win again, though. I love Yelich as a player. I
do too.
think it would be cool to see him go back to back too. Just winning 2 MVP titles in a row is so hard to do. Like, especially you look at Mookie Betts, like he's been struggling a little bit this year. But Yelich, he's just been like continuing on exactly what he did last year. And just the come up from him has been unreal too. I mean, like he was good. He was really good in the Marlins a few years ago, but he was not talked about at all. And then once he joined the Brewers, he just took off from there.
Dude, what? I know we talked about this before, but what were the Marlins doing and thinking?
I have no clue. I think like Derek Jeter, I don't know. He is such a bad president.
They got rid of Luis Castillo, like top 3 pitcher in baseball, maybe, whatever. We could talk about that. Christian Yelich. Who else? I know there's more people that they got.
Remember that guy Justin Bohr? I think they got rid of him too.
They got rid of Bohr, JT Realmuto.
Oh my gosh!
Derek
I forgot that
was on that team.
Dietrich, who's having a good year.
Obviously, Stanton left a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Who else?
But
the list goes on.
Why didn't the Marlins keep Stanton? Like, I know he was trying to leave and all that, but like, Miami's that's a popular destination. You'd think that you'd be able to keep a guy there.
I felt like they could have done so much more to try and keep him too. But like basically once he was gone, they're just like, all right, we're just gonna I still think it's stupid because you have guys like Yelich, like Real Muto, like these are top guys at their positions. And they're just like, all right, we're gonna go straight in the rebuild mode and just get rid of these guys. Like, no, why don't you like figure it out first? Like keep some of these guys and then see what you can do elsewhere to rebuild. Like maybe build up your farm system a little bit and then just wait for these guys to emerge into superstars, some of these guys in the farm system. But I don't know, because they're a terrible team too. And I feel like they haven't done anything to rebuild.
They're the only ones in the wild card that don't have a chance because they're like 15 or more games out. Everyone's 7 or less, which is crazy.
And
but I wanted to bring a fact on when you said back-to-back MVPs, how hard it is. Since 1960, when Maris did it, there's only been 2 to do it back-to-back since then. And only 2 that I've seen have been in actually my lifetime.
1960.
Frank Thomas did it in the 90s. I
Okay.
think 93, 94. And then Miguel Cabrera did it.
That makes sense.
So it would be actually really cool to see Yelich win it back-to-back.
And now we'll take a look at the AL MVP candidates too. You have like a bigger, like we still have to see who the top dog is, because you have, let's see, the candidates for the AL MVP are Mike Trout, DJ LeMahieu, Alex Bregman, Jorge Polanco, Joey Gallo, Matt Chapman, and Bogarts. Those are like the top guys so far. I think Trout has the best chance of winning it, of course, just because like Mike Trout, he's an unbelievable baseball player. But how about like DJ LeMahieu this year too? Like Jorge, like these guys. I don't know. Anyone think it's going to be someone other than Trout?
No, probably not.
I don't think it should be. I mean, I don't think there's anybody on a team that brings a bigger aspect or a better, I don't know, dynamic to a team than Mike Trout. I mean, can you think of any other player in baseball you would want to put on your team right now?
No, because I hate Bregman and I hate all the Yankee players you mentioned. So,
so by process of elimination, it's Mike Trout.
It's easy. It's Mike Trout. But I agree with
lastly,
you,
we're about to wrap it up here. I just want to hear everyone's predictions on the upcoming series for the Red Sox. So, how do you guys think they're gonna like the next? Let's look at the next 14 games tonight included. What do you think their record's gonna be after the 14? Like, I think they're gonna go 10-4.
That's my lock. My lock, and this is what this is going with. After 14 games, or at least by the end of July, the Sox are going to be within 4 games of first place.
By the end of when?
July.
So are you saying like the end of these 4 series?
Yeah.
So they're going to gain 8 games. I mean, they do play the Yankees 8 times.
No. Oh, hold on. 6 games. 6 games out.
So they would be at okay. So they gained 5 games on the Yankees.
Yes, I thought they were 9 out. I was looking at the Reds thing.
And is that you saying that they're ahead of Tampa Bay, obviously at that point?
Yeah.
Right? Or is it 6 games still in third?
Nope, they passed Tampa Bay. They're 6 games out. I don't think the Yankees are going to completely blow up to give the Sox better advantage, but I think the Sox are going to win enough that they can creep up a little bit.
See, the 2 Yankees series is what really scares me, because the Yankees are just unbelievable this year too. Like, I feel like they have such an edge over the Red Sox right now, and it's pretty much do or die these next 2 series with our chances of winning the division at least. I mean, we could still win the wild card, but like if we lose these next 2 series to the Yankees, we're not winning the division. So
you have to go. To me, you have to go 3 out of 4. Both series against the Yankees. You can't split because that doesn't do anything. You have to at least go 3 out of 4. You really would like to sweep, and you know they're not doing it again in New York like they did last year. It would be amazing, and I'll never forget that series last year because I was actually up in Maine watching them, and I'm going up to Maine, this weekend right before they play. But I think they have to take at least 3 out of 4. I'd like to see a sweep in Fenway though.
It kind of sucks a little bit that it's a 4-game series. It's a little harder to win 3 out of 4 than it is to take like 2 out of 3.
I think they're gonna do very, very good, win 3 out of 4 of the home series. I think they'll sweep the Rays both times, but the series in the Bronx, that one's gonna be the tough one for them. And
2 out of 2, hopefully. I would be
hopefully.
If they did what you just said and they went 2 out of 2 in New York, I would be okay with that. Yeah, it's a wash series. You still got one game up on them, or one game up on. Or is it two when you go 3 out of 4? It's 2 games, right? So you get 2 games. So you get 2 games up on them out of the 8 games that you play, which is not bad. And then you would gain 6 at least at minimum on Tampa Bay. That'd be
smacking the Rays.
Like I said, I think this run is very possible though, especially with Evaldi and Moreland coming back. You're getting your like good players back, and this is like these 2 guys. They were both key parts in last year's postseason run. So yeah, let's hope we have a very happy podcast next week.
I would be happy with Adams locking at 10 out of 4.
Get the lock. It's gonna happen. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm always right.
Anyone have any final?
I do want to say, since we're going to be back in a week, where is Adams locking at that point though when we come back? Where you think we're at? And that's probably saying 3 at Tampa and 4 in Fenway against the Yankees. So where are we at that 7-game mark?
I think we're at like 6-1 or 6-2. I think, we have a great chance of sweeping the Rays, but they're either gonna lose one or they're gonna split at Fenway this weekend. I say 6-2.
I think it's 5-2 after that Yankees, or if we can. My hope, like you said, I think if they sweep the Rays, I think it's possible. I don't see them sweeping the Yankees. That'd be great, but
I mean, if they swept the Yankees, you would just hope that they wouldn't get too much in their head. So when they go to New York, they don't get swept there, But
or when they play Tampa again right after that, and then Tampa sweeps them, Yeah,
that's what I love about us, though.
That would happen though with this team, with the inconsistency of it. That's kind of the BS we're talking about.
That's what I love about us, though. Like on the podcast, like we are a very optimistic group. Like I love all the positivity. I was very negative back in April on this podcast, but I'm really starting to be positive because I think like if we're gonna go on a run, this is the time to do it, and I think it's very well possible.
Well, it helps.
So there's no reason not to be positive. There's no reason not to.
I want to make a lock if that's okay, Adam.
Do it. Go.
And I'm gonna say that the Cincinnati's 9 back. And I say when we come back next week, I'm going to say that they're actually ahead of Pittsburgh. That's a game and a half.
Okay.
So you said I know that's not crazy or too much, but you did say that they were sort of tanking at this point. So I'm going to say that I'm going to say turn it around and they're 7 and they're ahead of Pittsburgh. So.
Which is the only problem is that's what about as far as we seem to be getting. We've gone to 4th place a few times this year and then just drop right back. I mean, we have the same exact problem as the Sox. It's literally pitching's on one night. I mean, shit. Luis Castillo, Sonny Gray, these guys are balling this year. DeSclafani's balling. They're having good years. I mean, Sonny and Luis were both all-stars. And then you hear about our hitting is sometimes there, but it's one night there, one night not. Pitching's there, hitting's not. Hitting's there, pitching's not. I mean, it's the same shit. It's one of the hardest things to be a fan of. One of the hardest. Because it's like, I see you're good. Why are you guys doing this? I want to go up to every player and just, shake them, grab them by the cheek and be like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I did see a video of them, like friggin' picking up the weights and everything in the dugout with their sleeveless jerseys.
Baby. No, those sleeveless jerseys are fire.
Those are fire. I fucking love them. They have 16 jerseys this year, I think.
That's crazy.
Could you imagine though if they did the All-Star game in Cincinnati this year and all the jerseys were sleeveless? That would have made the All-Star game better.
The All-Star game in Cincinnati back in 2015 was actually a lot of fun. People had a lot of good things to say about that. I think it'll come back at some point.
In 30 years.
In 30 years, yeah.
That's what it's going to be like for Fenway.
Yeah. Well, they're going to they pick weird places. Like Cleveland. How the hell did Cleveland get an All-Star game?
Next year it's at Dodger Stadium though, which I'm hoping to get out there.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
When will we see another All-Star game in Fenway, though? Who knows? Maybe. I think they were talking
2029,
about. Okay.
30-year anniversary. I don't know. I read an article about that, but
A home run derby at Fenway would be sick.
oh my God.
That would be sick.
Yo, there would be
Sick.
so many dented cars over the monster.
Yeah.
You would have
Bombs over the monster just
you
all
would
day.
have you would have balls going onto the Mass Pike and everything.
Dude,
For
that
real.
would be
Like-
It would
insane.
clear the street and everything. Yeah.
Imagine Vladdy Jr.'s performance, but in Fenway. Like, so many balls in the street.
Oh my God.
Anyone have any final thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, stay positive, Sox Nation.
Yeah,
There-
stay
there is
positive.
a path.
Red Sox,
Exactly.
There is
Red
a
Sox
path.
fans, we have a lot of doubters right now, but this group
Yeah.
right here, we're very optimistic.
There is
No,
a
I just
path.
wanna
It's
I just
not
wanna
closed.
we're gonna win at least Thursday and Friday against the Yankees because Babs at Spike King will be there, and same with me on Friday. So we got to get those wins.
Guaranteed dubs. You heard it.
Possibly, I'm trying to go on Saturday
Yeah.
too, but
Yeah,
All right,
Mike
guys,
Trout
so-
Guaranteed 3 dubs.
so I think that wraps it up for tonight. I would like to thank everyone for tuning into the podcast. If you're new here, you can check us out on Instagram at Ride the Wave Media. Our group is at Ride the Wave MLB. We post highlights on there. We'll post some promo videos from the podcast. So definitely tune in. We have some good stuff on there. And I think that wraps it up. So thanks, guys, again for tuning in. Have a good night, guys.